The Alberta government presented its budget for 2017 recently. One of the highlights of the budget was focusing on clean drinking water. How is your government taking that approach?
You know, we have made a commitment to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, and of course, we have been very clear that we are trying to make lives better for all Albertans. So it seemed pretty clear to us that we needed to focus on some pretty core issues in the Indigenous community, and water has been an ongoing, unresolved one. And I know in the past that the governments of Alberta have taken the stance that, well, clean drinking water is a federal government issue on reserve, but we've just simply said that we don't like that jurisdictional divide. All Albertans are Albertans, and so we want to ensure that every Albertan has access to clean drinking water, and one way we could do that is to connect reserves to regional water systems. So that's what this money is for. There's $100 million set out over the next 4 years, $25 million a year, to help those reserves that are ready and who want this to connect with regional systems in their area. And what we'll be doing, of course, is bringing the pipe from the regional system right to the reserve, and then the federal government is working with us to connect once we reach the reserve to connect to all the buildings on reserve. So it's a great tripartite relationship with the chiefs and councils, with the provincial government, with the federal government.
Minister Feehan, it's 2017. With the advancement of technology, why are there still water advisories in Alberta?
You know, it's just beyond belief that in this day and age there isn't clean drinking water available to everyone. But because of the jurisdictional divide that's happened over the years, it's just been left to the federal government, and the federal government has not stepped up. Now, I think they are a bit more now. I'm hopeful that their budget that came down this week also will allow this to happen other places. But Alberta did not want to just sit idly at the side and wait. We really wanted to make things better. We can't build on the reserve, but we certainly can make sure the water is at the reserve door. And so that's what we've decided to do. First province in the country to make that step all on our own. But of course, we've involved the federal government so that the systems get completed.
Minister Feehan, another item in the budget was the money for Climate Leadership Fund. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, the Climate Leadership Fund, of course, is a fairly central pillar of the work that we're doing in this province to make life better for everybody by making sure that we pollute less, that we reduce the carbon in the atmosphere, that we develop new economies around renewable energies, that we develop energy systems, and that we help every single household to reduce their electrical costs by improving the conditions of the homes through retrofits to the homes, everything from the smallest light bulb up to wraps for the water heaters and changes to windows and doors and solar panels on the roofs of all the buildings on reserves and elsewhere in the province. And so while we're committed to doing that for the whole province, we also want to specifically make sure that the Indigenous community was part and parcel of our move forward. So we set aside the $151 million over the next 3 years to allow them to participate in a whole variety of programs. Those programs will be everything from, as I say, the simple retrofits in homes so that you can bring your own electrical bill down to the larger scale putting solar panels on all your public buildings so you can reduce the cost of heat and water in the community at large. And of course, some of that money is also available for business plans and training for people to learn how to be the installers and to build systems that would actually provide energy for the whole community. Including, in fact, we hope that a number of the communities will get to the point where they build a big enough system, not only are they providing all of their own electricity, but they're feeding back into the grid and earning income from it. The
final topic, Mr. Feehan, was money for seniors and housing for off-reserve Indigenous. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, again, it's $120 million that's being put aside for affordable housing. This is really an urban Indigenous initiative, so looking at people not living on reserve. Of course, the federal government still maintains responsibility on reserve, but again, we want to step up. We know that 50% of all Indigenous people live off reserve and often very close to reserves, so lots of the towns and cities or villages around hopefully will become part of the program and be able to set up affordable housing so that that Indigenous people, whether they're on reserve or off, will have an appropriate place to live, raise their kids, and participate in the local community. So it's really a good budget for Indigenous people in this province. We're really looking forward to working with all of the chiefs and councils and all of the other community organizations to make sure that we find very specific ways to improve the lives of people. And that's the goal. It's just quite simply, we want, when the next United Nations declaration, United Nations measures of well-being are done, we want to see that Indigenous people are much closer to non-Indigenous people, and they haven't been over the many years past. Our goal is to bring everybody up, better lives for all Albertans. Quite simple.